On February 2023, Guwahati Police recovered the bodies of a mother-son duo, Shankari Dey and Amarjyoti Dey, from the nearby forest ranges. The bodies were chopped into multiple pieces and were scattered all over the place. 6 months ago, police even received their missing complaints. Thus, the discovery of their bodies made a dent on police's reputation. Therefore, they fast-tracked the investigation, and what followed was a horrifying murder conspiracy that took the entire nation by storm. Now, without any delays, let's dive into the full case study. I'm Sam, and you are watching Crime Stories by Sam. 29th August 2022, Guwahati, Assam. In Guwahati's Nunmati police station, 32-year-old Bandana Kalita filed a missing complaint of her mother-in-law Shankari Dey and her husband Amarjyoti Dey, both of whom were missing since 26 July 2022, that is, over a month ago. Acting on the complaint, police did some light investigation, but soon dropped the case due to lack of leads. 4 days before filing the complaint, Bandana approached Shankari Dey's nephew and Amarjyoti's cousin Nirmalya Dey for help, but she was met with a cold and ignorant response. So Bandana was all alone trying to search for her missing family members. 30th October 2022. Almost 2 months after Bandana filed the missing complaint, Nirmalya Dey, out of nowhere, tried to visit Shankari Dey at her residence in Jogmaya apartments in Guwahati's Teniali locality. However, there he learned from the neighbors that she had moved into her son and daughter-in-law's house in nearby Narangi locality. Bandana and Amarjyoti had been living in Narangi's Amravati apartments from quite a long time. Thus, Nirmalya directly went there. But there too, the neighbors claimed of not having seen Shankari Dey from quite some time. After learning this, Nirmalya simply left, as if everything was normal. However, on 21st November 2022, that is 22 days after he visited her apartment, he too filed a missing complaint at the same Nunmati police station where Bandana filed a complaint 3 months ago. 62-year-old Shankari Dey was a retired employee of Assam Power Distribution Company. She owned 5 residential flats and 1 commercial plot in Guwahati, all of which were put on rent. Thus, along with pension, she earned hefty rental income every month, which made both Bandana and Nirmalya flag their concerns to the police regarding a probable ransom kidnapping. But due to the absence of any ransom call, police rejected this theory. On the other hand, Bandana had been collecting rent from Shankari Dey's tenants, and recently she even rented out one of her vacant flats to a new tenant. Agitated by this, Nirmalya raised this issue with the police. But a daughter-in-law handling the business of her mother-in-law during her absence seemed very normal. Thus, police dismissed Nirmalya's concerns. 14th February 2023, 5 months after the first missing report. Bandana filed a complaint to the Guwahati Police Commissioner regarding the lack of progress in the case. And on the same day, Nirmalya also filed a similar complaint at the Guwahati Criminal Investigation Department. After receiving both the complaints, a special investigation team was formed headed by DCP Kalyan Pathak. For a fresh start of the investigation, he first decided to personally take the statements of both Bandana and Nirmalya, and this seemingly simple step gave police their first breakthrough. They found multiple inconsistencies when comparing the initial and current statements of Bandana, which made the police suspicious about her. A further scrutiny of her and Shankari Dey's bank account revealed that recently she encashed a total of Rs 5 lakhs from Shankari Dey's bank account. Thus, 3 days later, on 17th February 2023, police again summoned Bandana for cross-questioning. Initially, she tried her best to mislead them, but when they grilled her for straight 2 days, she broke down, and what followed was one of the most inhuman confessions that you will ever listen. They revealed that she herself had killed both her husband and her mother-in-law with the help of 2 of her friends, cab driver Dhanti Deka and vegetable vendor Arup Deka. 26 July 2022, a month before the first police complaint. Around 5 p.m. in the evening, Bandana, Dhanti and Arup reached Shankari Dey's flat in Teniali. She was in the living room watching TV while lying on the sofa. Taking advantage of the TV's noise, Bandana and Arup silently got inside, while Dhanti stayed out to keep a watch. Bandana ambushed Shankari Dey by smothering a pillow on her face, trying to suffocate her, while Arup held her legs to prevent her from fighting back. After a few minutes of struggle, Shankari Dey went still. But this wasn't the end of their cruelty. Bandana kept a rolling pin below her neck and chopped her head off with a machete. Then she chopped the rest of her body into small pieces and packed them in multiple polythene bags. By 10 a.m. in the morning, they threw most of her body parts in the nearby hills, except her head, the rolling pin and the machete, which they threw at different locations to confuse the police. Bandana then returned to Shankari Dey's home and told the neighbors that she had moved in to her and Amarjyoti's home in Narangi locality. But this was only the start of Bandana's bloody trail. 17th August 2022, 22 days later, Bandana and Amarjyoti were at their home in Amravati apartments. Amarjyoti was watching TV. Taking advantage of the situation, Bandana smashed an iron rod on his head, killing him instantly. Then she called Dhanti and Arup inside, who were patiently waiting outside the flat. They chopped his body into 5 pieces and packed them in large polythene bags. Then again using Dhanti's car, they disposed of the body in the jungles nearby India-Bangladesh border. The trio then returned to their respective homes. Bandana burned the blood-soaked mattresses and clothes of Amarjyoti on the terrace of their house and immediately left to her paternal village in Assam's Panikhati. After this confession, police immediately arrested Dhanti and Arup from Tinsukia and Khanpara, who confessed their crimes without much effort. With the help of the trio, police quickly recovered both the bodies and the murder weapons. Police also called Nirmalya for the identification of the bodies. But as it was already 6 months since the murder, the bodies were severely decomposed. Still, Nirmalya was able to identify Shankari Dey by a torn piece of cloth lying on her body, which happens to be of the nightgown that she regularly wore at home. Police also seized the car of Dhanti that was used in the murder. A man named Imran Ali, aka Chotu, who sold the machete to Bandana for Rs 320, was also arrested. Now it was the time for the big question. Why? As per Bandana's statements, 12 years ago, Bandana and Amarjyoti were classmates pursuing bachelor's degree. They fell in love and got married against the will of both the families. In turn, both the families disowned them. On the other hand, to support themselves financially, neither they had any jobs nor they had a bachelor's degree which would have helped them to secure a job. Thus, the financial stress soon became a regular topic of arguments between the couple. However, Bandana was able to secure a job at a call center, but Amarjyoti was still jobless. 2 years got past and Shankari Dey softened her stance towards them. She started supporting them financially. Seeing this support, Bandana left her call center job and started working as a gym trainer. Shankari Dey didn't like this move of Bandana. Thus, she stopped her financial support, which in turn made her and Bandana's relation sour. On the other hand, Amarjyoti was an alcoholic, a womanizer, and had strained relationship with her mother Shankari Dey, which was also the reason he lived away from her. Therefore, Bandana was being neglected by both her husband and her mother-in-law. All this makes it look like a crime done in frustration, but this was just a made-up story told by Bandana to change the narrative of the case. When police did some cross-checking, a completely different story came out. The neighbors of Bandana told police that a man used to visit her regularly in the absence of Amarjyoti. The man was none other than Dhanti Dekka. She was having an extramarital affair with Dhanti since a long time, about which Amarjyoti got a hint of. This escalated into regular heated arguments between the couple, and soon Amarjyoti expressed his intent to get a divorce. But Bandana had something else in her mind. Shankari Dey owned a lot of properties in Guwahati, and even though she had strained relations with her son Amarjyoti, still at the end he will be the one to inherit those properties, and as his wife, Bandana will also have a right on those. Thus, a divorce at this moment will be a spoil sport. Therefore, she made the plan to kill both the mother and the son so that she can directly inherit those properties. She roped in her boyfriend Dhanti, whom she promised to marry, which in turn would give him a right too on those properties. Dhanti then hired his friend Arup to help him in the act in exchange of Rs 2 lakhs, which he needed for his upcoming marriage. This clears the motive of the murder, but still there are some bizarre events that are difficult to explain. Like between the murder of Shankari Dey and Amarjyoti, there was a gap of 22 days. How come no one even noticed that she was missing? Did nobody even tried to reach out Shankari Dey, not even her own son Amarjyoti? The same question arises in case of Amarjyoti too. There was a gap of 12 days between Amarjyoti's murder and the date on which Bandana filed the first missing complaint. Did none of Amarjyoti's friends or even relatives noticed that he is missing? It's very strange. Bandana was very cunning. She knew that things between the mother-son duo were so bad that the absence of one won't even get noticed by the other. These kind of conclusions require close and delicate observations. Thus, it can be assumed that this whole plot has been in making since a very long time. On the other hand, Arup's father testified that Bandana and Dhanti used to come to their home to visit Arup and presented themselves as boyfriend and girlfriend and said that they are going to get married soon. Bandana even faked her name by telling Arup's family that she is Anamika. Few days after killing her husband Amarjyoti, she conducted a Satyanarayan Puja in the same house and invited her parents too. Now let's get into the legal side of things. On 12th May 2023, a charge sheet of 1600 pages was filed in the district court, along with the initial bail applications from the trio. On 17 June 2023, their bail applications got rejected and they reapplied for bail in Guwahati High Court. On 12th October 2023, police failed to submit the forensic reports by the deadline. Thus, Arup Deka was granted bail in exchange of ₹50,000 fine and a condition of weekly visit to the police station. On 10th November 2023, due to the same reason, Bandana and Dhanti too were granted bail with the same fine and same conditions. Currently, all the three accused are out on bail and court proceedings are still going on. A lot of the times, Bandana can be seen arriving and leaving the court with a big smile on her face, as if she has no guilt or remorse for what she did. Or maybe she knows that court cases take years to come to a decision, and even after that, she has the option to recontest the decision in the higher court. Thus, even after brutally killing two people, she can live and enjoy her life normally, without much restrictions. So this was all about Guwahati gym trainer murder case. Hope this video helps you in keeping you and your loved ones safe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.